Welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV viewers and subscribers. As always, thank you for tuning in. And if this is your first time coming across the channel or you haven't subscribed as yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. So after that impressive victory by the West Indies against Afghanistan, not only was it an impressive victory, a dominating performance, it was a record-breaking and record-setting performance as well. You know, there were a lot of team and individual records set in that match. So we're gonna be sharing some of the records that were broken by West Indies in that match. You know, both from a team perspective and also a few records by Nicholas Pooran as well. So just stick around to the end of the video while we discuss all of these things, right? So getting right into it. The first record I would say of note to mention is that 218, the score, right? That West Indies posted. So that 218 for 5 is the highest run total so far in the T20 World Cup of this year's T20 World Cup. And overall, it's the West Indies' highest score ever in a T20 World Cup, and their fourth highest ever overall, right? So it was their highest total in the T20 World Cup, and their fourth highest total ever in T20s overall. It's also the then of course there was a 36 run over, right, which it ties the record for most runs ever scored in an over. You know, the 36 runs have been scored off overs a few times in the T20 World Cup, and just overall in cricket in general. Even in this year's T20 World Cup at 36, I think it was a Nepali batsman that scored 36 runs, and the West Indies equaled that record, with that over, scoring 36 runs off Omar Zai. So that was also another record that was equaled in this innings from a team standpoint. So a huge shout out to the team for that as well. Another record, which I think this is, I mean, all the records are impressive, don't get me wrong, but I think this was very impressive to see. So the West Indies scored 92 runs off the first power play. So that's from overs. So from the first 6 overs, they scored 92 runs, and that's the most runs that has ever been scored in the first power play in T20 World Cup history, right? So it was just a blistering start by the West Indian batters, in that power play, mainly from Charles and Pooran, right? So we have to give those players a lot of credit, especially Charles. He's come under a lot of criticism for his poor performances, in this World Cup and just leading up to the World Cup. So we have to give him credit when he performs well, right? And acknowledge his brilliant performances and not only criticize when he does not do well. And that's how you strike a balance. At the end of the day, we are all West Indian fans, and whenever the team takes the field, we want the team to be successful, right? And which is a part of the reason why he comes under a lot of criticism at times, because he's not as consistent as we would like him to be. But whenever he performs well, we have to give him credit. So that 92 for 1 by the West Indies, most runs ever scored in the power play in a T20 World Cup. So a huge shout out to the West Indies team, especially the batters for that. King, Charles, and Pooran, they contributed to that, right? So huge shout out to them. The margin of victory, right? They won the match by 104 runs. This is their second largest margin of victory in T20s, right? And it's second only to their margin of victory against Uganda, which they also did in this World Cup, right? So the match against Uganda, they won by 134 runs, which is their largest margin of victory. Now, this is their second largest margin of victory, winning the match by 104 runs. So shout out to the team again for also setting that record. So in the power play, so as I mentioned earlier, in the power play, they scored 92 runs, and in overs 17 to 20, they scored 60 runs, right? So at the beginning of the innings and the back end of the innings, they scored 152 runs in those overs that I mentioned. So from the first 6 overs and the last from over 17 to 20, And that 152 runs, that's the most runs that's ever been scored in a T20 World Cup by a team, batting, right? So another impressive record there, 150 runs. That's more than um yeah, I'm not going to do the math right now, but that's a huge percentage of the runs that were scored by the team, and it came in the opening power play and in the back end of the innings, the last four overs or so. So that's, like I said, 152. That's the most runs that have come off those overs. So that set of overs, the first power play and the last two overs from over 17 to 20. So brilliant batting, in the beginning, and also finish off the innings with a bang as well, and with a lot of momentum. And that was the difference in the game, because in the middle overs, the Afghanistan bowlers, they bowled well. The batters batted smart as well, not trying to just hit every ball for to the boundary, but respecting the bowlers, the quality bowlers that Afghanistan had on shore, namely Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmed. They bowled well in the middle overs, and the batters batted well, respected their quality bowling, and tried to get singles and rotate the strike during that period. And I think even though Shai Hope's innings won't get a lot of highlight, obviously Nicholas Pooran scored 98 or 53, so his innings will be the much talked about innings. Johnson Charles' innings as well will be talked about. But I think that innings that Shai Hope played, and that partnership that he built with Nicholas Pooran in those middle overs, I think that partnership was very, very crucial for the West Indies. Rotating the strike, but Shai Hope scored at a decent rate. So he got 25 or 17. So that's by no means slow, right? So but it was very good in the middle innings, and then it allowed the heavy hitters to come in. So the Ravman Powells and Nicholas Pooran, of course, in the back end of the innings to do what they do and score boundaries. So that Shai Hope innings was definitely crucial for the team as well. Um, from an individual standpoint now, right? So Nicholas Pooran, so the first record for him of note was that he passed Chris Gill, right, for the most sixes hit by a West Indian batter in T20 internationals, right? So in the previous match, he became the leading run scorer in T20 internationals, and in this match, he became the highest six hitter in T20 internationals as well. He's played more matches than Gale, but nevertheless, Pooran is a top quality batter in his own right, and it's well deserved. And he has a lot of time remaining on his in his playing career. So this record he will continue to set this record in terms of the sixes hit and runs scored. And it will be interesting to see where he ends up once he's finished playing T20 cricket. But so currently, so Nicholas Pooran, he's now sitting at 128 sixes in T20s, in T20 internationals. Gale is second, of course, with 124. So that's an individual record for Pooran. Unfortunately, he didn't score the 100, but that's an individual record that he surpassed in this as well. Also in this match, he became the first West Indian player to score over 2,000 runs in T20 internationals. So another record set by Pooran there, again, coming off the back of overtaking Gale as the leading run scorer. He has now become the first West Indian player to hit the 2,000 run mark in T20 internationals. So another impressive record by Pooran, and he will, like I said, he will just continue to score runs and create more records, right? And also, so he scored 37 runs off Rashid Khan bowling, which is the most runs Rashid Khan have conceded to a batter in T20 internationals. Um, yeah, in his bowling career, right? So if you're familiar with Rashid Khan, he's a top quality spin bowler, one of the best in the world, and for quite a while he occupied the top spot in terms of the T20 bowling rankings, and I think he's still in the top five. So Rashid Khan, top quality spin bowler, and Nicholas Pooran made him look ordinary in that match last night. So and it just goes to show how good he batted, being able to score 37 runs, or Rashid Khan. So 16 balls, that's just 2.4 overs, right? So, 37 off 16, that's a strike rate of over 200, so that's brilliant batting by Pooran to be able to do that against Rashid Khan. So that's another record also that the team, that Pooran set in this match as well. So there are a lot of records. Those are the records that were either equaled or broken by the West Indies team, or set by the West Indies team and players. So that's all I have for you in this video, viewers and subscribers. But as always, definitely don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the team's performance and these records that were either set, broken, or equaled. Like the video, of course, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.